Hi guys, welcome back to another video on Next.js 14. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can convert our web app into PWA and prompt user to install a web application into a PWA. In the previous video, I've already shown you that what is PWA, what are the benefits of PWA. If you check out my playlist on Next.js 14 tutorials, you can see that this is the last video I created. Convert Next.js 14 plus project into progressive web app. What is PWA? What are the benefits of PWA? It is almost 22 minutes video. You can check that out if you don't know what is PWA. So in this video, I'm going to be using the same project in which I converted Next.js app into PWA. But in this video, I got few messages from some of my viewers that we want to be able to prompt user to convert this web app and install it as a desktop application. So let me quickly show you. When we refresh or open up any web app, we can actually install it by clicking on this link. Any app which is not PWA, we will not be seeing this icon on the browser. So here you can see that I can click on the install. So you can see that it has converted that web app into a desktop application. And if I show you all my apps in my Mac, let me scroll to the right. And this is the last application. You can see that this is the random logo I have used. And this is the title I set just for elaboration. Okay. And even if I don't open up my app on the browser, I can still click on it and it will be open up as an application just like other apps installed in my Mac. And I don't need to have a specific Mac OS. It can be done on Windows, Linux, or even on mobile browsers as well. I have shown you in the previous video. Alright, so let's start converting our existing Next.js 14 PWA project so that we can prompt user. If it is not already converted into the desktop app, then user should be click on any button on the modal and should be able to convert this web app on the browser, and next time should be able to open up the same app as a desktop application. Okay, so this is the project. There is nothing UI stuff added inside it. It's just the simple Next.js 14 project. I have not updated any UI in it because this is not the purpose. And if I open up this public folder, you can see that these are all the files I showed you were created in the previous video when I converted this project into a PWA. All right, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new component for the model. Model is going to have a title, maybe the description and the button to install the app, and then the cancel button. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna open up this source folder and let's create a components folder, and I'm going to create a new component name inside it. So let's say that the PWA model.tsx. All right, so this is going to have a model, so I'm going to use that snippet. And this is going to have some kind of UI. So first of all, I'm going to be using the tailwindcss because it is already configured. So this is the div, the main div. So let's try to add some class name to it. So fixed inset 0 flex items center and the justify center. And then I will be giving it the Z index because this model needs to be at the top of everything on my page. So let's give it Z index of 50. All right, so let's go inside and create another div. And this div again is going to have a class name, and I'm going to give it a background white color. I can give it any width, let's say 94. And then let's give it some kind of padding inside it. So rounded LG. Okay, so shadow LG. All right, so this has been done. Inside this div, first of all, I will be having a title, class name. So let's give it text to large, font semi bold, MB2, text black. All right, so this is going to have the install the app. You can give it any title. So below this, let's give it some description as well. Click the button below to install the app on your device. It can be any device like mobile browsers or any operating system. Okay, and we can also give it some class as well. So let's give it some classes. So p class name text smb4 text black. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and open up this page .tsx, and I'm going to be importing this component just to see whether it's visible on the page or not. So here let's try to add it over here at the bottom of this JSX. So within this div I'm going to be having the PWA model. All right, so let's go and see. Yes, this is the model showing up above everything on this page, and it is on the center of this page. Obviously, you can use any library to show up the models, but this is not the purpose of this video. I'm just quickly creating this model and adding some styling on it. And below this P, let's add another div. And inside this div, I will be creating a new button and the class name. So let's give it background blue 500, hover blue 600, and text white px4 rounded md, and let's give it some margin to the right side of 2. Okay, so install PWA is the text on this button, and also we can give it the on click event handler, which we will be passing it from that page component where it is using this particular component. So let's give it a name for now, install, which does not exist right now. So let's try to add the params which I'll be passing from the parent component first of all. So here I'll be passing if we need to show the model or not. This will be a boolean value. So let's pass from parent component to this one and give it a name show. So we'll be giving it on close if user wants to cancel that model and don't want to install it for now. This is a TypeScript file, so let's try to give it any for now. Okay, and this is install, and below this button let's try to add this button now and give it a class name and background gray 300, and I will be giving it hover background gray 400. Okay, so let's give it text gray 700, padding on the x-axis of 4, padding on the y-axis of 2, and the rounded mg. All right, so let's close it like this. Okay, so within this button let's give it some text like close. Okay, and let's also give it the on click event which is being passed from the parent component. So on close which is being passed. So let's try to save this file and go. You can see that it's showing this button like this. It's looking good. So maybe we can actually increase the height of this button. In fact, let's try to give it some class to it, and I'm going to give it flex. Okay, now the button height has been automatically increased because I've given the flex. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is below this div I'm going to add another div. This is going to be a complete hover, or you can say a complete overlay to everything else other than this model. So inset 0 and then background gray 900, opacity can be, I will be giving it an 80, or you can say a 90. What happened? Okay, so opacity is going to be 80 over here, and minus z minus 10. Okay, and finally I will be giving it the value and the variable value which I'll be creating above. So blue background or a blur background. Okay, so this has been created and I'll be completing it like this. There seems an error. I need to close it with the double quotes. All right, and I think this blur background variable needs to be created now before that it to work. So const blur background equals to, and first I will be checking if the model is showing up, then I will be giving it a value backdrop blur. Okay, otherwise I will not be giving it any class. Okay, so it's not a blue background, it is the blur background. So let's save it, and here it's actually not showing up here. Let's try to debug this. So we have this div. Actually we don't need to wrap it within the double quotes. All right, so now final thing we need to do is we need to add this condition like the show. Okay, if we want this model to be showing up, then this show boolean variable can handle this. Okay, all right, so let's go. Let's try to refresh. It's not currently visible. The reason may be that this show is not being passed from that parent component. So that's pretty much it we need to do in this file. Let's go to the page.tsx file and let's try to pass the show variable first of all and see if it starts appearing. Yes, you can see that it has started appearing and everything else has an opacity of 80 at the back, and it's working fine. And these buttons will not do anything because I need to pass its references from the parent component. So we can actually pass it on close equals to, and this function is not yet created in this file. So handle close model, and then we can have the on install. This is what I think I added in that. So handle install click. Okay, so you can see that on close and on install, these are the names I have given to these. So let's try to fix these errors first of all by creating these empty functions, and this will be the on handle on close and handle on. So I will be creating the handle install click by creating this arrow function, and then handle what is that? It's handle close model. Okay, all right, so the error should be gone now. Yes, error is gone. And now what I need to do is what it's showing. So there is a function, it has to be the client component. Yes, I need to convert it into the client component because there are some click events. All right, so this is where our main functionality is going to get started. So first of all, I will be creating couple of states inside it. So first of all, I need to manage if model is showing or not. Show install model and set show install model equals to use state, and this is going to be a boolean. By default model will not be visible. Okay, so let's try to import it from the React, and next variable is going to be let's say is available, or you can see that it's going to be a prompt and set prompt. And then the use state, it is going to be an event that can have a lot of properties, so I'll not be creating an interface for this. So I have just given the type any to it. Okay, so in the terminal there is no error. These are just warning because I'm not using these variables. These are just the linter errors. All right, so then I will also be needing the use effect hook. So I will be adding the use effect hook with this syntax, and let's try to add empty dependency array because I want it to be running only once when this component is going to get mounted. Okay, so inside this use effect I'm going to add an event handler. Okay, so window.add event listener, and there are a lot of event listeners, and these event listeners can change browser to browser. And the event listener which I'm going to be using here is definitely going to work on the Chrome, but you need to check the docs and the some documentation on the Mozilla Firefox or on the Safari. What are the different alternatives for that? So some browsers restrict you to not to use its APIs, maybe to not to programmatically open up any model. Okay, so this video is specifically for Chrome, but the logic and the structure of the code can be same if you find an alternative for the, let's say, the Android mobile Opera browser. Okay, then that can have a different kind of event listener for that. But here I will be using a before install prompt. Okay, this is an event listener, and I will be creating a new event listener function inside it. So handle before install prompt. This is the function which I have yet to create. So let's try to create that first of all within this use effect. So I will be creating the handle before install. It's going to be yes, and then it is going to take an event of type any. All right, and it can have a default props, it can have a default pop-up model. So this is how I can prevent it by setting it, and then I can actually write the set prompt with this event which is being passed with this event handler. Okay, and you can see that this prompt is going to contain this event reference. All right, and after this I'm going to check if the application is already installed in my operating system as a desktop application or not. Means if the application which is running on the browser is already converted into PWA desktop app, this is where I'm checking it. So I can check it by writing the window dot match media, and then I can write the display mod standalone, and then I can write something like matches. Okay, and if it is going to, this means that if the application is running is not standalone in my desktop, then this condition will get true if the app is not converted into the PWA, not installed as a desktop app. So then I will be showing it set show install model equals to true as a state variable over here. By default it was false, and this use effect is going to get running automatically when component it's going to get mounted, and when this is going to get true, then we are going to pass this variable over here by adding this show property, and when it is going to get true, this is going to get true and everything is going to get visible. All right, so for now let's go at the top, and we are going to copy this one. Let's try to add it over here, and let's try to refresh this page, and I'm gonna go to the browser and let's try to refresh, and here you can see that it's not already showing the model. The reason is that our app is already converted into PWA as a desktop app. So let's try to delete that PWA app first of all. So I'm going to search that out. Yes, it's already installed, and I'm going to click on here uninstall this one. Okay, so this is uninstalled, and you can see that when I uninstalled it, it has triggered and detected that we have not converted this web app into and install it in our operating system. Okay, and yeah, we are going good for now. And quickly, to avoid any memory leak, and it can cause few problems when we have different pages on our app, so it's always a good practice to add some cleanup function, and we can write a cleanup function by writing the return statement within use effect, and we can simply write this line again. Let me copy this within this return, and here we can actually remove event listener. Everything else is going to be same. All right, it will not do anything, but if in few cases it can cause problems, so just to avoid that I've added this condition. Next thing we need to do is we need to write some code to close this model and to install the app in this in our app. So this is not going to install it. In fact, clicking on this install PWA is going to open up this model automatically. Okay, so let's try to do that. Let's go at the top. First of all, in this close model, I'm going to set this one, set show model equals to false. This is what I'm gonna do quickly. So this is going to close that model. So let's click on close. Yes, it's closed. Let's try to refresh the page, and again it has detected that it is not installed in our desktop. So let's try to go ahead and this function, everything else we need to write in this handle install click. Now we have to first of all check if the prompt exists or not. This variable, you can see that we have actually modified and updated the value of it over here, and if event exists inside it, then we want to proceed quickly just to avoid any unknown issues. After this, we are going to write the prompt dot prompt. Okay, this is a function, built-in function, exists within the event of this handler before install prompt event handler. This event have a built-in function called prompt. This is what I have called over here. All right, so let's try to see if we are able to prompt that model or not by clicking on this install button. Let's try to click on it, and yes, it has actually used the API and by clicking on this cancel and the install button. And if I click on install, we can actually install it in our system, and we can also detect if user pressed cancel or pressed install if we want to perform some more logic in our application. Let me show you how we can do that. So I can write the prompt dot user choice dot then, and then this is going to give us the choice result. We can write any name for this variable. Okay, so this choice result, we can actually detect if choice result dot outcome equals to accepted. Okay, then we can simply log this out. You might have a different logic. So accepted means that user have installed it, or we can actually write console.log or the cancelled. I'm going to show you if it works by opening up my inspect window, the console window. Okay, so after this, we can simply set the prompt to null. Okay, so once user have clicked on the cancel or the install button, we want to remove that event from these state variables. It's up to you if you want to do that. So, and also we want to hide that model as well. Okay, so set show model equals to false. All right, although when we will be refreshing it, it will again be showing up because this component is going to be mounted again, but you can store the value of it in the local storage to avoid showing that model to the user next time when user cancel something. Okay, so let's try to save this file now. Let's go over here. Let's try to refresh this page. Yes, click on the install. There seems an error. So use choice. Let's see, this is not use choice, this is user choice actually. Okay, let's try to refresh. Let's try to click on install, and there is no error now. Let's click on it again. Let's try to inspect it first of all. Let's click on the console window, and you can see that it is showing the cancelled. Let's close it. Let's refresh it. Let's click on install and click on the cancel, and you can see that it is showing cancelled, means that we are successfully able to log this statement. Now let's try to install the application. Let's click on the install again. Let's try to click on the install. This is going to close this browser window as well. So let's click on install, and here you can see that it has converted that web app and install it in my desktop in my Mac system, and it is converted now. Let's open up that same application in the browser again, which it closed. So let's open up localhost 3000 and let's try to refresh it. You can see that it has detected that it is already installed and it is not showing that model. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. It got a bit longer, but I wanted to show you each and every step by creating the UI and stuff like that, and adding some event listener. It might not work on the Safari, but if you want to enable it and might have found the different event handler, you can add different conditions, like the if this is true, then you can have like this can have window dot iOS installed, something like that. You can keep on adding the conditions over here and it will start working on the other browsers as well. All right, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you in the next video, and I'll be creating more videos on Next.js 14, and I'm planning to create project based videos as well. Comment below if you have any suggestions, if you want me to create any technology based videos or a project based videos. I'll be looking forward to your comments. See you guys in the next videos.